Hi all, welcome to Night Rips. So being that this is my last stream or last video for 2021, I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of actually ripping packs and kind of doing the same old, I decided, well, why don't we just go ahead and take a look back at 2021 and find, the things that I did find, at least things that are interesting to me. I won't say they're all big hits, but they're, definitely fun things that I acquired over the most of 2021, since I really didn't get back into the hobby until Top Series 1 came out. I guess that was in March. So was that about 9 months of acquisitions. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna go ahead and start this basically kind of going through the years. I like a lot of older stuff. And part of that's because, I've been in this hobby for actually quite a while. Much like a lot of people, I did not grow up in an area that actually had a professional baseball team. But, it was one of those cases where, you started following a team based on which channel did you get. Some people got WGN, some people got WTBS, and whichever one you got first typically became the team you followed. In my area, it was actually WTBS that came first. I became a Braves fan. I've been a Braves fan ever since. I did spend some time in the Tampa area where I did like the Devil Rays, which just tells you how long ago it was. But, that's, you always root for your home team. But in my heart, I've always been a Braves fan. So we'll start with cards that actually I acquired when I was growing up. This year I was fortunate. My boys actually took me to an experience that I got to meet and hang out with actually one of my childhood heroes. Being a Braves fan, that hero being Dale Murphy. So my boys took me to the Dale Murphy MVP experience, and part of that, you got to eat and got to watch a game with him, which was surreal to watch a Braves game with Dale Murphy. But I actually got some of my cards from when I was growing up. These are both from 87, that's an 86, 88. And actually the first year that I started really getting into the hobby was in 1981. So yes, I am an old guy, but Dale signed all these cards. It was actually interesting, this specific card, and a lot of people don't know about these. This was actually a box set from it was a theme park there in Haines City, Florida, called Boardwalk and Baseball. And there was 33 cards in it. And again, this is a Topps card. And you can definitely tell quality control is still not there. It's still pretty off-centered. But that was not the point. The point was it was a special set that I got from Boardwalk and Baseball. I was actually there on opening day. Didn't get an autograph. I got to see Ted Williams. Another interesting thing, this park is now closed. It was open from April of 87 until January of 1990. I actually worked at this park for the latter half of 1989. So almost, I think I left in December of 89. So less than a month before it actually closed. But yep, got to meet Dale. Got quite a few cards signed. Planning to go back this year. Because like I said, it's really surreal to get to have lunch and hang out with a childhood hero. Even got a chance to get a picture with his MVP, one of his MVP trophies. So that was pretty cool. So if you've been watching enough of my channel, one of the things I like, even though a lot of people don't, I actually like the junk wax era. I think part of it was because junk wax, that occurred from 87 until, roughly 95, right after the strike. That was the time of my life I didn't really collect many baseball cards. I do have a lot of 87. After 87, it was like spits and spurts that I'd get cards. I got a little bit of 91. I got some 88, got some 89. But it was just packs here and there, because you tend to you graduate high school, you go to college, spent time in the military, got married, raised a family. the things that actually kind of get you out of the hobby. And it wasn't really until this year that actually got me back in, and it was really Topps 70th anniversary that did it. But you know, that one of the advantages that I'll say about the junk wax era is you can still find a lot of unopened and some really, really neat stuff. But you know, you tend to start finding things like this. This is actually a 1989 Ken Griffey. And just to tell you how strange this time was, you know, this was actually from a caramel candy company. And I ended up finding these in a box. It wasn't something that I pulled, but definitely something that I found. I found this and some other players. But, you know, it's very indicative of the junk wax where everything was getting produced. A lot of fun stuff that I have pulled. As I found, you know, I do pull a lot of Upper Deck. Again, because Upper Deck is easy to find, and also because Upper Deck is such an interesting product to me. That the photos were great. You really don't find much bricking in a lot of stuff. Plus, I did a lot of that chasing. You know, Hank Aaron had autos, Reggie Jackson, Ted Williams, Nolan Ryan, Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan. The name goes on and on, because, you know, then you get to the Heroes of Baseball where you may have actually found other players. Haven't found any yet, but I have. One thing I did find was I found I actually like a lot of these Vernon Wells art cards. And so this one actually is one of those short print cards. I forget what year it's from. Looking at this, it would be a 1991. So yeah, this was from 1991 Upper Deck. And it's a short print. It's a pretty cool one. You know, the fact that on May 1st of 91, you had Nolan Ryan and Rickey Henderson both breaking records. So that's a pretty cool one. Of course, another Nolan Ryan with his 5,000 strikeout. Again, Vernon Wells. He did a lot of the art for Upper Deck. There's Mike Schmidt's retiree card. Used to watch him too. He was a fun one. Actually saw him in person growing up, since I actually lived near the Detroit Tigers spring training area. And then, of course, I got excited when I saw these. These are actually the cards that would have been autographed, the 1 out of 2,500 for Nolan Ryan and Hank Aaron. It's the only ones I've found so far. But, you know, just getting this far was pretty cool. It would have been real nice to find autos on them. But, you know, again, there was so much being produced at the time. The other fun thing I found during the, you know, these rips of the junk wax was error cards. You know, start looking at something like this Nolan Ryan, and what you don't realize on this Nolan Ryan, there's actually two variations here. This is actually error card. I actually don't have the other card handy. I do have it, but there is a red stripe here that talks about his 300 strikeout. So, you know, this one's the missing one. So this is actually an error card. Of course, everybody knows about Ken Griffey Jr. You know, he was definitely a big one to pick up. This is from 1990 Upper Deck. Big thing with this one, I brought both of them out because these are actually two different type of cards. The one on the left actually has one error to it. If you actually look real closely, simultaneously spelled wrong. But the one on the right was actually not only is simultaneously spelled wrong, it's actually missing the copyright. And you found that real frequently on a lot of the hundreds cards. And I've found quite a few of those, and it's always fun to find those little errors. A couple others that I found was, you know, Bo Jackson and George Brett. Those are both also with no copyrights. George Brett's actually a double error card also. If you actually look at runs, you know, this was in 1990. This was his 17th year playing for the Royals. If you tally up, he hit a lot more than 133 runs. Especially if you just add up all these in a row, you'll find out that's more than 133. He had actually had 1,330 runs at this time. So another double error card. Fun one to find. Also found, and this one, let's see what I can do to. This is one of those Heroes of Baseball. For whatever reason, early 90s, they really got into these holograms. And I've pulled a lot of the hologram stickers, but this was actually a Hank Aaron Heroes of Baseball hologram card. So, of course, Hank Aaron being a Brave, and they're him in his 70s, the same uniform that he hit, number 715. Definitely a high point in my finds. Now, in Ted Williams in the early 90s and late 80s too, obviously with Baseball Boardwalk, a lot of people turned to Ted Williams, for his opinion. And so actually what Upper Deck did in 1992 is they actually, asked Ted, who are the best hitters of the future? And in the 1992 Upper Deck that I have opened, I actually have found a couple of them. And honestly, both of them are great players. I mean, obviously Juan Gonzalez, and then of course that Ken Griffey Jr. And just seeing, the statements that Ted made about both of these people was pretty cool. Unfortunately with Ken Griffey Jr., he was going to be one of those great ones if it wasn't for all of the injuries that he had. And then last step into the junk wax era, I was actually fortunate during 1992 that there was actually a set of games in all the different ballparks, and they were the Heroes of Baseball games, and there were card shows specifically tied to those games. They were actually in the cities that they were holding those games. They were actually selling special boxes specifically for those card shows that card dealers could buy and sell at these shows. Somehow I ended up getting a box. Since then I've actually got another one. I didn't realize it at the time, it wasn't advertised. But what was really, really cool about those is that there's a chance of getting different cards. They were the Upper Deck high number series, but what they actually had was these hero highlights where, pulling a Bobby Bonds or a Lou Brock or a Bob Gibson, in a 92 box. These were, definitely awesome. And this is actually a very hard set to get. There's a total of 10 cards. And since they were only in those specific boxes, this is probably considered one of the rarest insert sets that you can get from the junk wax era. Are they worth much? No, not really. You can still find them on eBay, but they didn't make very many of these. So, definitely a nice find, not really realizing it until actually I started opening and doing some research, but very, very cool. So let's go ahead and move past junk wax. So, 1994 happened, the strike happened, almost took baseball out, definitely changed the game when it came to the card world. But in 1995 and beyond, there was a ton of different products. One of the products that I ended up opening was from 1996 Pinnacle. Now, 1996 Pinnacle is one of those products that's pretty cool. If you think of the Series 2, one of the cards that I'm actually going to try to find, once I can find some Series 2, is the Bob Hamlin card, because it's considered one of the ugliest cards in baseball, and because of that, yes, I definitely want it. But I ended up getting kind of an old box of 1996 Series 1, and it was definitely a rough opening because the cards were bricked pretty hard. But I did end up pulling a couple really nice cards out of it that aren't really damaged. Maybe a little bit of edge damage, but not too terrible. Pulled, a very young Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. And what's really cool, even though these aren't the ones that everyone are after, these are actually their rookie cards when it came to Pinnacle. So I actually pulled 2 of each. The other 2 didn't quite make it as good. They are a little bit rougher, but definitely, pulling 2 of the greats of baseball here. Definitely both Hall of Famers now. Jeter just getting in, and Rivera getting in, by himself. Very, very awesome hits. I also opened up a very interesting box in 1998, Top Series 1. It's one of those things that, I was after some other things that was in this auction lot, but it was definitely something strange, right? Because all the research I did about this box, I really couldn't find much about it because it really didn't meet any of the is that like a 20-pack box, and they were weird number of cards per box. I could not find out much about them. All I found, stuff about 1998 Topps. But I did pull some really cool stuff out of that. For one, being an Atlanta fan, pulling this, good Lord, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, Greg Maddox. I should have known better than that. Yeah, pulling this Greg Maddox Etch-a-Sketch card. This is actually a photograph of a Etch-a-Sketch card art that somebody did. Matter of fact, it's this guy here. It's 18-year-old. What's his name? George. Good Lord, my eyes are killing me. George Visage III. Yeah, he actually took this image of Greg Maddox and did it on an Etch-a-Sketch. So kind of cool. Topps did, something a little bit different with these Etch-a-Sketch cards. It was definitely an insert set, something you didn't get real early in the hobby. Also, they actually took, this is actually what one of the base cards from that 1998 looked like. Now the difference is this stamp right here. What they actually did is they took a number of cards to the Cooperstown, to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and they actually pressed these stamps on select cards. So I think you could find one per box, and so I did pull a nice one with Ozzie Gillian. But this is definitely a stamped card from the Hall of Fame. But the thing that I really, really like, now 98 was the year that for Mickey Mantle they did not put a number 7 card in the sets. But what they also did is they did some reprints. And those reprints, for one, was Roberto Clemente. He hated being called Bob, but this is a 1965 reprint from that, from that set. And it's just a base reprint, and it's as if I had a 1965 Topps Roberto Clemente card. But the cool one of all, and this was a 1 in 400 chance. This is a 1960 refractor chrome Roberto Clemente. Granted, back in those days, they would put the sticker over it. Topps Finest did the same thing to protect it, and I didn't want to take it off because, I don't want to damage the card. But yeah, this was a very, very nice hit. Like I said, a 1 in 400 chance of finding, and I think I found this like on my first opening. But very nice. Be nice to have a true 1960 Roberto Clemente, but if you can't get that one, at least you can get a reprint, and it is still a nice card. Nice refractor there. So that's it for my old cards, at least for now. But as I said, in March, I actually started, my son and I started talking about, it is the 70th anniversary of Topps. I did collect mostly Topps growing up. It was really a Topps and Donruss, but primarily Topps. So I'm like, 70 years, I gotta get into it. So my son and I, we both bought jumbo hobby boxes, and that was it. I was hooked. And matter of fact, to show you the card that hooked me the first, I actually pulled, and some of y'all recognize, Jorge Solaire. And this was and this scratches is on the top loader. I didn't even realize it was scratched. It was a numbered out of 199, a piece of game-used memorabilia. Now, we all know Solaire ended up coming to the Braves second half of the season, and I didn't realize that whenever I got this card. But, getting a piece of mem, to me, was cool because this is not something you used to get in the 80s. I guess you could always send cards in with a letter to the players, and they would sign your card and send it back. But, that was kind of a lot of work, so I never did it. And, of course, I also didn't live near a stadium, so I never got really anything signed. But, yeah, it was cool to get this Solaire piece of mem in the 86 variety. And 86 is actually my favorite Topps year. So, to me, this was, double. I was hooked with this. As a matter of fact, what ended up happening through, I don't remember what even pack. If it was Series 1, Series 2, been hangers. I opened up quite a bit of Series 1 and Series 2. I actually got a Solaire Home Run Challenge card, and it just so happened on National Baseball Card Day, my son and I, we were actually at a Braves game. It was one of the first games Solaire was there. This was August 7th, and we got him right at the trade deadline. Well, I'm like, you know what, this would be cool. I'm going to say Solaire's going to hit a home run on Baseball Card Day. We're sitting there, we're watching first inning. I think he was like second at bat, and you just saw it leave the park. And it ended up scoring me a nice Jorge Solaire in a Braves uniform, wearing number 12, which is the number I wore when I played back in the day. Specially stamped as National Baseball Card Day on August 7th. So what's really cool is this was a one-day design. It was a game that I was at. So this was awesome. Other things I liked about Series 1, 2, and Update, there's a lot of things. You don't necessarily have to be, big hits. If I look at something, like this was actually from Series 1, the Ted Williams. This is a 1954 design. This was the first Topps card for Ted Williams. But what was cool about this one is that this one's actually a patch. Thought it was a neat idea. Not everybody likes this kind of manufactured mem, but to me, this is little things that kind of sparks my interest. Again, it's not about the money to me. It's about the experience and the collectability of it. So this was, to me, really, really cool. Other things I found that were kind of neat. A couple other pieces of manufactured mem. This A-Rod. It's a replica of the 2009 World Series ring. Reason I like this one, of course, is this one's actually one of my lowest numbers. This is a 2 of 10. So pretty nice one there. I've actually got, I think, another one of these. I think I got Wilson Contreras's, but it's an unnumbered one. For the rookie side, Luis Patino as a Ray, pulling the rookie, the rookie symbol. Again, this is also a numbered out of 10. This one would be 8 of 10. But, Patino, who was a Padre, but then came over to the Rays. And since Rays is, one of my other teams that I tend to not follow as much, but I do watch it since I lived in that area, this was another kind of a cool one. Now, this one pains me because I was at the All-Star game in 2019. And had tickets for the All-Star game this year since it's in my home stadium. But, of course, we all know what happened. The All-Star game did move to Colorado. The Atlanta lost it. So I did end up pulling this out of 75 game-used or event-used patch from Brian Reynolds. And what's really cool is actually, if you look at this, it's not just a piece of napkin. You could actually see the part on his sleeve where this actually, it's either one of the two sleeves that this piece came from. So that's really, really cool. And again, a nice, actually it's not out of 25 or 75, it's out of 25. Number 17 out of 25. Nice short print there. Of course, pulled that out of another hobby jumbo. And then let's go ahead and take a look at some of the autos I pulled. Rafael Marchand. Remember that name. You're going to see it again. Of course, a sticker auto. Here's Nick Heath. Got quite a few of these 1985. 1986 versions. Austin Meadows. Of course, these are nice because they're on card. There's Luis Gonzalez, rookie. Sonny Gray. Luis Castillo. That's 2/5 of the starting rotation for the Reds. There's Cody Heuer when he's still a White Sox. Of course, he ended up going to the Cubs. Numbered out of 199, Miguel Yajur. First, this is another thing with the first hobby jumbo I got. This is actually my third auto, or my second auto. So my fourth hit out of that box. And of course, it was out of the chrome piece. of Anderson Tejada. Of course, again, remember that name. Of course, you get a numbered Jim Abbott out of 20, or yeah, out of 25, the red parallel. Of course, it's on card. Notice that most of my autos were the 86 variety, which were all on card autos, which is nice. And then one of the hobby boxes I got actually had a missing hit. So I got the mem, or the relic and the mem, but I was missing an auto. So of course I submitted to Topps, not really expecting much. I've read all the horror stories, but I actually ended up pulling and them sending me this, a Jonah Heim on card auto, the 86 variety, back when he was still with the Athletics. Of course, he's now with the Rangers and kicking some tail with the Rangers. And you know that the back-to-back clinch home runs. You know, I think it was a Ranger record. Might have been an MLB record, but right now I'm not remembering. Again, I mentioned I'm old. So that was it for the flagship product. Of course, once the flagship product was done, completed the base sets that I was going to complete, because I do love collecting base sets, I decided, you know what, there's a new product coming out. And that product honestly has fascinated me more than anything, any other products. As a matter of fact, it has now become my quest. And that product being Topps Stadium Club. Now, this was actually one of the short prints. This is actually a chrome refractor short print of Mickey Mantle. This actually came from one of the base, not the chrome Stadium Clubs. I've actually not opened any of that. This was actually from one of the plain Stadium Clubs. But, you know, just seeing the imagery and how they did these cards, I definitely got my interest. Now my quest is to get a base set from every year from 1991 all the way to 2021 and 2022 if they're going to do it. And matter of fact, you can see behind me a couple master photos. These are actually from, I want to say, 1993 Stadium Club. And of course, you know, getting a Barry Bonds. You know, these you could have gotten redemptions, but you know, these were the box loaders of the time. But I definitely got, you know, if you look at just the sheer number of autos I pulled, yeah, I've pulled a lot of blasters, and for whatever reason, Blowout had the hobby boxes like cheap, like $100 a piece around the 4th of July time frame. So I ended up I bought a bunch. So, you know, and you can see the kind of autos I pulled, and the reason why it really got me is actually going to be the last card that I'm going to show you here. But, you know, I got interesting, you know, there's Mark Burley. We'll see if he makes the Hall, if he still even qualifies. He's only been up for one time. There's a pitcher, Tariq Skubal. Johan Ramirez, love that auto. Matt Foster, there's Nick Neidert, Mitch White, Blake Taylor, Yinoli Paredes, Dalton Jeffries, Chris Bubik, Julian Merriweather, and Adonis Medina. Those are my rookie pitchers, and most of them. Of course, you get the other players. There's Andres Jimenez, that's him with the Mets. He's obviously now a Indian, now Guardian. Lewin Diaz, Anderson Tejada, I said remember that name. There he is again. So 2 autos with him. Rafael Marchand, of course, second auto of him. Start seeing a pattern after a while. There's Sherton Apostle, a nice one. Alex Kirilloff, someone who won't be playing for the first half of the season this year. Ramon Laureano, Starling Marte. He just went. I'm totally drawing a blank. I think he actually went to the Mets. I think so. I did pull one redemption. I pulled a Spencer Howard. This is my other rookie pitcher. Took a couple months, but by this point, I was 1 for 1. 1 for 1 with my missing hit, and a 1 for 1 with my redemption. So far, I'm batting 1,000. Can't complain. But I did mention there was something, the thing that kept me going when it came to Stadium Club. And as this next one, this is a numbered out of 50 red foil Ronald Acuna Jr. So got my boy Ronald, one of the jerseys I actually wear. Being a Braves fan, and missed him that, he got hurt just before the All-Star break, couldn't play and, help us win the World Series. If anything, it might have been the reason why we won it, because we ended up going out and getting people like Eddie Rosario, Jorge Solaire, getting Duvall back, Jock Peterson. But hopefully we'll see him come back. I have been watching his Twitter videos. He has been on a tear, and he is out for blood next year, assuming we can actually get a season next year. So that's it for Stadium Club, and plan to see a lot of Stadium Club next year. Again, there's over 8,300 cards when it comes to all the base, and I'm not even talking about the Chrome. Chrome's only been out 2020 and 2021. Not even looking at those, just the base paper Stadium Club. Of those 8,300, I've already got over 3,000 just from little pickups here and there. But plan to see a lot of it as we chase it down through the years. But I mentioned before, on National Baseball Card Day, one of the things you always want to do is go to your local card store and support them as much as you can. I went to the one near us and wanted to buy something, something to rip, not necessarily for, actually it was for stream, because by that point I was actually getting ready to start my stream. But I ended up buying a hobby box of another product that had just come out, product known as Gypsy Queen. So Gypsy Queen, obviously the hobby box, you'll get two autos, and then that's about it. That's all the packs. Gypsy Queen, for whatever reason, has been really my jam this year. I only bought the one hobby box. Matter of fact, most of these things, other than Stadium Club, which I got hobby boxes extremely cheap, I usually buy like 2 of the jumbo hobbies when it comes to the flagship stuff. And then everything else, I'll buy a hobby, maybe, if I can get my hands on one. I do buy a lot of retail, a lot of blasters. That's why you'll see so many videos of, relatively short, 15, 20-minute videos tops, because I love going through them and showing what I get and showing what you can go find for, if you're lucky, a $20, $25, maybe $30 thing. So I bought the hobby box of Gypsy Queen, and that what really got me going, because my first hobby box opening, I got the autos, but I also pulled 5 numbered cards. And that, it's like, okay, let me start buying it. So I started, as I could find it. Really can't find it on shelves. That's just not happened this year. But, going to Target online and buying a lot of that product. And I've opened a lot of it on stream, which you can actually watch. And every one of them, I've either found, missing nameplates, the font swaps, the bazooka backs. I think those are the big things. Or I find the numbered cards. And I've found it in almost every single blaster I've ever opened. But I've also been lucky enough to pull autos from here. And one of my rarest hits was actually from one of those blaster boxes. But to show you what I got, here's the Yankees pitcher, Albert Abreu, and Cody here. Again, a couple rookie pitchers. Got a Pavin Smith, not a pitcher. Always love to say not a pitcher. We got yet another Rafael Marchand. That would be my 3rd auto in my 3rd product. So crazy, almost like I'm having my own PC of Rafael. So I hope he does well, because I've got a ton of his autos. And of course, Brent Rooker. Now, the one thing, and this one freaked me out. It was greater than a 1 in 11,000 pack odd. I actually pulled Andres Jimenez, the black and white mini rookie auto. These numbered out of 50. This one actually being 47 of 50. So definitely that has been my biggest hit, when you're talking odds wise, of pretty much anything I've opened. And this one actually came out of a retail. So, it proves that even blaster packs, sometimes you can pull some really, really cool stuff. So that was just the autos. Again, I have a stack probably at least, inch or two thick of numbered cards or short prints, not counting the ones over 300. Just ton of color when it came to Gypsy Queen. Great product. I've enjoyed every box I've opened of that. I've also decided, and it was another time going back to the local card store, I ended up picking up a box of Allen and Ginter. That product, the reason I really got it, it interested me more than almost any other product I've ever opened, because you could just get so many things. There's 6 or 7 different insert sets just for minis. There's 4 or 5 inserts of the big cards. There's rip cards, which I did pull a rip card, and I'm not going to show it here. I ripped it and didn't get much out of the middle. It's actually just a short print. I want to say it was a Brian Hayes, but I ripped a Chris Bryant card for that. And it's for my hobby, so I didn't really worry about ripping it. Pulled some interesting pieces of mem, Bo Bichette, Bat Relic, a Mark McGuire jersey relic, a Jazz Chisholm jersey relic, all base stuff. But the thing I wanted to bring up is I also found 2 autos, and I never found an auto in a hobby. These were both in retail. So I actually pulled a Wilson Contreras, catcher for the Cubs, whose brother was one of the rookies for the Braves. And then the one who we were wanting him to do better, and I think he will. I mean, I think if we don't have to trade him in order to keep people like Freddie or pick up maybe a Matt Olson or whatnot, Christian Pache, one of our rookies. I saw him at the Futures game back in 2019 in Cleveland during the All-Star break weekend. I think he's going to be all right. It wasn't quite ready. Had to put him back in the oven a little bit. It wasn't quite done. But that was the autos I pulled from Allen and Ginter. Again, Allen Ginter's another one of those very interesting sets to me. Just all the unique stuff that you can find out of it. It's always a fun rip, and I'll be curious to see who's going to be the non-baseball people next year. And the other thing is, Topps is losing the license. We got one more year with Topps, and then it goes over to Fanatics. What's Fanatics going to do? Are they going to buy Topps and then keep those IPs and continue on, or are they going to be the end? I don't know. So I guess it's a wait and see. And I don't know what I'm going to do when that happens. We'll see. I think a lot of us are sitting and waiting, trying to figure it out. So decided, again, I love opening a lot of product, especially stuff I've never opened before. So, I mentioned before, I do like chrome. Even though a lot of times the chrome looks a little bit bent, it's still, a bent card, if you're cared about grading, which I personally don't, but if you're worried about grading, bent cards really don't mean anything. You're worried about the edges and the corners and the surface and the color and the centering and all the other stuff. The bend, you can make a bent card straight. But I decided let's go ahead and open up some Topps Chrome. I also picked up some Topps Chrome. If you watched my videos, like the Elite Boombox that I opened in November, or the Buck City box. Did I do it? Actually, I don't think I opened up any Chrome in the Buck City box. I think that was all Bowman. But I did open up some Chrome. I did get some blasters. And the nice thing is I actually did pull some autos. This Taylor Jones, player for the Astros. This is actually from that Elite box. Carlos Hernandez, rookie pitcher. Of course, we got Kyle Cody, who he's still. I think it was Tommy John that actually kind of hurt him this year, but it's kind of strange looking at that card, huh? But this is from the boom box. But what was really neat is I actually pulled another redemption card out of a blaster box, and submitted it like we always did. And it was like 7 to 10 days later, this showed up in the mail. A Tariq Skubal. again, it's another, another rookie pitcher, and one I've already had. But what amazed me is I was now 2 for 2 when it came to redemptions this year. So between the missing hit and the 2 redemptions, I batted 1,000. Topps did me right. I know it doesn't happen to everybody, but for whatever reason, I got lucky this year. So I'm happy with Topps about that. But Tariq Skubal, definitely think he's going to be another good one. But we'll see. I mean, that's the thing about rookies. Unless you're trying to flip them right away, it's always just a wait and see how well they do. So, now I've talked a lot about Topps. Topps is not the only product I've opened. When it comes to the prospects and whatnot, you don't look at Topps for those. You look at Bowman. Of course, Bowman belongs to Topps, but I did end up opening up a little Bowman. I didn't buy any Bowman products. All the Bowman products that I have gotten is either out of the boom boxes or out of the Buck City break boxes, the home run box. And of course, pulled autos out of those. So I pulled actually more than just autos, and I'll show you. So this is actually Jeremy Pena. This was his Bowman first, numbered to 199. This came from this was out of a 2020 Bowman pack from the original boombox. This is a 2021 Bowman first, Deshaun Knowles, out of 499. This was actually out of the Buck City break box. But they're really, really cool. And getting Bowman first, especially if these guys really show something. And neither one of those are pitchers, which is a good thing, right? Because none of us love pitchers. And I do, but for whatever reason, everybody hates on pitchers. But these will be great if they do really, really well. But the one that really, really caught my eye, and every time I heard him doing more, he's one step away from a one-touch now. From that Buck City, one of the Buck City boxes I did pull, and this is just a paper card, but out of a 2020 Bowman, I pulled out of, I want to say he's out of 75, number 3 of 75, Wander Franco. So still his prospect card, but yeah, definitely sleeved and top loaded him as he really did it this year. I mean, it's unreal. It's going to be awesome to watch him again because of being from Tampa. You have that interest in the Rays. Been to that stadium many times. Want to see what he does. His rookie card will be in Topps probably Series 1 in 2022, which should be coming out in, I want to say it's early February. Still got to buy my Jumbo Hobbies because definitely want to pull that on stream. But yeah, awesome to pull a Wander Franco numbered card. All right, now let's go ahead and let's look at some of the assorted stuff that I've pulled for the rest of this video. Not a lot of product that I've opened, but one of the things, and being somebody who likes the old cards, I did the Topps archives. Didn't buy any of the hobby boxes, but I did buy some retail because to me those cards are cool. 7 years, a variety of the cards that were, plus you had the 69 big, or is it 69 or 63? The big head cards, the peel-offs. You had the 89 chrome cards because I was buying the retail. You had the 2091 cards that never will be because obviously Topps probably won't be around in 2091. But you had the 7 years that was just cool to see, current players on those old varieties and old players too. But in all the openings, and I've opened, several of the archives boxes, all blasters, I actually did pull 2 cool autos. You got Kim Ng, the first woman manager of an MLB team. And I got Steve Blass, who is in 1971, he threw the last complete Game 7 World Series win for the National League. Of course, After the passing of Roberto Clemente, which we opened his cards earlier, he went from an ERA of around 3-ish to an ERA of 9, and got that ailment known as Steve Blast disease, where he just could not maintain control. So really could only pitch, in the late 60s, early 70s, he was probably one of the best pitchers in baseball. And then said around 73, he really fell off. And in 74, he pitched a game, and then that was it. He hung it up. And he's actually in the Pittsburgh Ring of Fame. Not necessarily, possibly part of it because of his pitching when he was with the Pirates and helping the Pirates win the 71 World Series. But also, he was the commentator for the Pirates for over 20 years. So, cool guy. He's still around. He's still got his Hall of Fame vote because he was in the media. And I actually just saw him recently, on MLB TV. So, a couple of neat things. Again, both out of retail, and of course, I pulled some other nice stuff out of the retail ones, like the Freddie, out of 50. Nice to get low number pulls out of retail products. Also decided to open up some Panini Blasters, Panini Prism, that is. I did open some mega boxes. Mega box, you had an auto in each one. None of the blasters that I've ever opened in Panini really panned out. And I'll tell you, between me and all of y'all, I'm not a super Panini fan when it comes to MLB, simply because, they have an MLB PA license. They don't have the MLB license. Therefore, you can't say the team name and you can't see the team uniform. So to me, it's like, it's not quite the same. That's why it's not that I'm a Topps homer. I'm a baseball homer. So, but I did pull a few interesting autos out of Panini Prism mega boxes just to see what I could get. I got Derek Fisher, who's really it doesn't look like he's gonna do much of anything. I did get another Albert Abreu, the pitcher for the New York Yankees. And the one I wish I would have had this on a Topps instead of, and of course these are all sticker autos. I wish I had this on a Topps instead of a Panini. I actually did end up pulling a Ke'Bryan Hayes. Of course it's a sticker, so it is, he definitely, it ran off a little bit, but it's a Panini product, so I wished it was better. And of course it is a Prism. I think that, I'm trying to remember if all three of these are Prisms. No, actually the only two Prisms actually are Abreu and Ke'Bryan Hayes. So actually the only two good autos are Prisms. But definitely nice to get this rookie. I think Ke'Bryan Hayes is going to be another great one. That was it for the Panini Prism. Again, I'm not really a super fan of it. Now, something I was a fan of, and unfortunately I couldn't get my hands, the hobby box sold out and never saw them again. And I bought 5 blasters, and it was all I could ever get my hands on. They never hit the store. This was a Target exclusive, and that being Topps Fire. And in Topps Fire, I actually got this auto. Trying to remember, and it is numbered 45 of 75. But it is probably the smallest auto in my collection. He definitely wanted to make sure that he was within the sticker, and he did a very good job of that because it's definitely there. But Andrew Vaughn, nice Topps Fire. Like I said, I wished I could have gotten more of this product, but, it just wasn't in the cards, pun intended. Now let's get to some of my bigger stuff. One of the things, whenever I got the November boom box, one of the reasons why I did, I'm still trying to experiment to see, what products interest me. But one of the things I wanted to, that I was looking at is that the boom box guaranteed 1 auto, 10 packs with a potential, a 25% chance of getting a museum collection pack or museum collection. Well, I got the box, and when I opened it up, I was one of the fortunate ones that actually got the museum collection. And in the museum, you're going to either get a relic, an auto, or an auto relic. I didn't get the relic. I didn't get the auto relic, but I did get an auto. And the auto is actually extremely cool. I actually ended up pulling out of 200 this Ryan Mountcastle rookie in silver Sharpie. So awesome card here. Honestly, you know, again, another one I think is going to end up doing really well. Still got to get some top loaders for this one because it is a bit thicker. I tried to see what top loaders I had, and none of mine will fit, and I don't want to mess up this card. But definitely a very nice one, and you know, going to be, I think, a good player for the Orioles for quite a while. So really neat one. I was extremely happy to get that one. I did mention that you would guaranteed one auto, and the reason is because you ended up getting one pack of Bowman Sterling. And the one auto I did get out of 125 is rookie Evan White. And not doing as well as what they hope with Seattle, but you know, he is a rookie, and again, sometimes you gotta let him work a little bit. But you know, very nice. It is an on-card auto out of Bowman Sterling, and then the way this triangle here with the Mariners logo on it, definitely it looks almost like it's three-dimensional when it's really just a flat card with an image. So cool card though. Now, one thing my son does a lot, and I decided to do one time, and I've not done it since. Not that I don't want to do it, I just haven't pulled any more triggers yet. Is Buck City did a Mega Monster break, random team, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'd never bought into a break before. I've never bought into a break since. And in this mega mix, there was actually, you know, all kinds of products. You know, there was Museum, there was Chrome, there was, you know, there was a box of the Topps Archives Signature, which is a one-card box. A couple boxes of Luminaries. Each one of those boxes a one-card box. Bought into the break, you know, chances, I think it was like possibility of 44 hits in that entire break. It was a beast and a fun watch. Put in my name, only bought one spot, and it ended up getting the New York Mets. I have no problem with the Mets. Actually, whenever we were sitting by a Mets fan, whenever at the All-Star game, you know, congratulating him with Pete Alonso whenever he killed it at the home run derby. Most fun home run derby I've ever seen. But so I have no problems with the Mets, even though they are a division rival. And DeGrom is a beast. But I got the New York Mets, and we're going through, and you know, there was some autos here and there. Nothing Mets. Matter of fact, it was a very light Mets break to start. Then they got to the first box, the Topps Archive Signature. Again, these are the retired players. Actually, I won't even talk about that one yet. I will save that one for a second. Started opening up the Luminaries. Luminaries, you know, that's a several $100 box. Contains one card in each box. In the first Luminaries, speaking of the polar bear, I actually ended up pulling out of 15, number 3 of 15, this Pete Alonso autographed game-used mem, or a game-used patch. You know, granted, it's just a gray napkin, but still, you know, this is an autographed on-card auto with a piece of Pete Alonso's jersey. Again, this was a one-card box, and I got. And just this box alone cost more than the entire price of the break. So, very nice hit to get. And this is one of the cards that you tend to see behind me all the time. And the reason is because it's one of my bigger hits. But I will go back to talking about that Topps Archive Signature Retired Players Edition. Again, it's a one-card box. And they only opened up one. When they opened it up, the cool thing about this one, again, these are buyback cards, and this is a buyback from Topps Finest. I ended up getting a David Wright from Topps Finest 2008, 1 of 1. This is my first and only 1 of 1 card. As a matter of fact, both of these cards together are actually my first 2 slabbed cards. You know, I do a lot of raw. I don't really, you know, I like opening it. I don't send really, I've never sent anything into grade. And I don't buy into the high-end stuff. So getting both of these on my first break, boy, it's hard to not buy into other ones, because, you know, great hits. And this was actually the only one of the entire break. The only reason why this was not probably the biggest hit of the entire break was they actually pulled a low-numbered auto from Jason Dominguez. So, needless to say, that one was the winner. Now, last card I'm going to show was not opened on any of my streams, and it never will be. This was actually a present. My son, you know, he sees me opening up a lot of boxes, a lot of junk wax, or a lot of newer stuff, or break boxes, or whatnot. He sees me opening raw cards, or, you know, he's the one that talked me into this breaks. You know, he's my bad influence. But he was like, you know, what you really need is you need to start getting into some of the graded vintage. So for Christmas, he decided to get me, and it's not because of the players, it's because of the year, because it was the year I was born, and which we're going to show you how old I am. He actually bought me now it's only an excellent mint 6 of 1969 Topps pitching leaders, National League. And you look at those names, you know, Juan Marichal, Bob Gibson, and Fergie Jenkins. None of those players I would ever turn down on any of my teams, but he ended up getting me this PSA graded card. So this is actually my first vintage graded card. So definitely props. This is definitely one of the big ones for my collection. I'm very happy to get this one, but that's been it for my year. It's been a fun year. It's been fun getting back into the hobby. I look forward to 2022 and where it's going to go. You know, my hope is that this strike that we're currently, or this lockout that we're currently in, is not going to influence anything. I don't think it will, but, you know, especially for somebody who likes opening old cards, this is there's plenty of stuff out there. I've got a lot of stuff on the shelf ready to go. Some very interesting stuff that is going to be it's going to be some fun rips in 2022. Also, I tell you now that, you know, not only do I have plans to go into this major card show in Atlanta, I actually have tickets, a 5-day ticket to the National this year. So I will definitely ended up getting a new camera specifically for streaming the National, or streaming any of the card shows that I end up going to. But planning to put those up along with, you know, any of the hits that I buy, or, you know, I do buy into the VIP, so, you know, there's going to be the VIP pack, so we'll opening up on video and posting it to the channel. So with all that being said, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notified button. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff between chasing Stadium Club, the new products coming out, you know, Series 1 coming out beginning of February. We're going to put it up pretty quick, along with anything else I can get my hands on. It's going to be a fun 2022. And of course, as I mentioned, the National. Also, make sure to go ahead and hit the like on this video. This one was a bit longer, but 2022 or 2021 was a fun year, at least for me, collecting cards, getting back into the hobby. So I've enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And then if you have any comments of anything, or what are you planning to do in 2022, drop it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're going to make the National, you know, I'd love to meet up. Let me know. You know, obviously you can hit me up on Twitter. That's linked in my about, or you can go ahead and put comments in any of the comment section. And I'd love to meet up with any of y'all. With all that being said, I really, really enjoyed being with you in 2021. I really enjoyed showing you what some of the stuff I've got. You know, there's definitely a lot more that I've gotten. This is not all the autos. This is not all the hits or mems or unique cards that I've found. There's still a ton of stuff. I just didn't want this to be, you know, a movie, even though this one is a bit long. I want to thank everyone that's helped me get the stuff that I've gotten. You know, thanking Del Murphy, Buck City Breaks, Great Lake Breaks, the original Boombox, Blowout, David Adams, even Steel City. You know, all the people I've bought from, plus all the eBays and other auctions that I found all this stuff. Definitely be looking at more here, just because I want to keep doing more for the hobby and doing more to show you what we can get. And then, as always, I appreciate all of y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of this year and a wonderful 2021. And I hope all your pulls are one of ones. Until next time, bye now.